takes all the color and leaves me gray. Why do I need it? What does my heart say? If I've walked in the room today, would you know it came your way? If I called your name,
I didn't want you to walk away, but I won't force you to stay. I never want you to regret the day we met, and so I won't betray the trust we built, so I'll just say, no matter where you are, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide.
writer's block is my enemy, keeping me from my destiny. Lord, won't you hear my plea? Help me reach the end of the story. Staring at the monitor for ages, waging war against blank pages. Writer's block coming in stages, keeping my stories locked in cages. Fantastic world stored in my mind, character voices to be defined, but writer's block keeps me blind. A way forward I can't seem to find. Writer's block is my enemy, keeping me from my destiny. Lord, won't you hear my plea? Help me reach the end of the story. This is my writing reality, battling to set my mind free of fears that won't let me be, so I can deliver my story. Inspiration strikes, I need to begin. Get to chapter 5, put down my pen. Writer's block's got me again. No, I can never seem to win. Our tribe's a virtual ghost town, victims of this endless showdown between this villain of literary renown, and I'm so tired of being its clown. I'm praying on my knees, Lord, won't you hear my pleas? Help me get past the tyrannies, stealing my creative energies. Writer's block is my enemy, keeping me from my destiny. Lord, won't you hear my plea? Help me reach the end of the story. Then the Lord said to me, focus your energy, commit to your strategy, then you'll finally be able to finish the story. Writer's block can't stop me from reaching my destiny. I've got the Lord with me. I'm reaching the end of the story. No, it can't stop me. I'm reaching my destiny. The Lord's with me till the end of my story.
Well, welcome back to everybody. As you can see, we are having fun with stream time today because things are not quite working the way it should be as far as what you can see. It's very exciting. Let's see if I can get you to the right place. It's another live stream episode of insanity. No, no, no. Don't do that. Okay, let me see if I can get it to pull up the way it's supposed to. Oh, wait. Some days I feel tech capable, and some days I feel like a tech moron. And this is one of those days when I am just not feeling it. Let's see, for some reason it just doesn't want to show what we've got going on. No, bad dog. Stop that. Okay, maybe because I've got the wrong thing showing. I don't know. There we go. It's not minimized, but thanks. It's in the list. It's just not showing on the screen, so clearly I've got something going on there. There we go. All right, now we got it. Okay. I will eventually get things working. The tech comedy of errors. Yes, exactly. Oh, Jeff. Yes. A very unusual spelling, but I like it. Helps me to remember. So, alright, we left off. Let's see what we were planning to do when we left off this last chapter, because since it's been a week and we skipped time, I have completely forgotten where we were headed with everything. So I'm going to go back and read the last chapter we wrote, and then we get to decide where we're going to start today's work. Yeah, the infinity screen always looks cool. It's like Inception, only, with text. Chapter 31, A Meeting with Mortus's Crew. Mortus waited for Lauren, Seymour, and Hawkeye to join him in the chat room. Behind his back, Sven amused himself by quietly digging up one of Mortus's plants, looking for a nut he was sure he'd buried there earlier. Mortus stared at the offer Mike gave him, pondering what it would mean for them all if the gang said yes to it. He still wasn't sure he wanted to be back in the pocket of the military. His cast reminded him that he was a bit too old to be doing that kind of work, but the money was tempting. Hawkeye was the first to make an appearance. I got your message. You said it was urgent. Mortus nodded. It is. I'm just waiting for the other two to join so I don't have to explain multiple times. Hawkeye crossed his arms on camera. I get that. Got to admit I'm dying of curiosity. This related to the incident? Mortus sighed. It is. And it isn't. Hawkeye raised an eyebrow. Way to be definitive. Lauren popped into chat. Hey there, glad to see I'm not late to the party. Mortus gave her a brief smile. Not at all. Just waiting on Seymour now. Lauren took a jab at Seymour when he arrived 10 minutes late to the party. Thanks for finally gracing us with your presence, she joked. Seymour gave a mock bow. Why, thank you. I had some personal business that took longer than expected. Mortus kept his expression deadpan, but looked at Seymour. What kind of business would that have been? Seymour raised an eyebrow. Personal, as I said. Sven chittered triumphantly, holding up a Brazilian nut for all in the chat to see, effectively distracting them. Lauren chuckled. We see your treasure, Sven. Good job. Mortus, did you see what he did to your plant back there? Mortus rolled his eyes. Yeah, Sven does that sometimes. It's fine. I'll fix the plant later. Now that I got you all here, though, let's get down to business. Everyone listened in as Mortus got started. I got a surprise call from a friend of mine in military intelligence. He's the one who sent me out to Mammoth Caves in the first place. This may sound strange, but he says he wants the four of us to partner with military intelligence in some work they need done. Seymour's eyebrows shot up. It's possibly. You know what? Let me look it up. Let's talk about that. Brazilian. You may well be right. Let's find out. Well, actually, they're Brazil nuts anyway, so we'll go back in and fix that. Small details, but if they're annoying the reader. We fixed him. We fixed him. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Seymour's eyebrows shut up. What kind of work? Lauren leaned forward. What would we have to offer? Hawkeye stared at the screen. You've got to be kidding me. Mortus shook his head in disbelief. Well, you've got plenty to offer. That's not the question. Seymour interrupted. I still want to know what kind of work. But how much are they offering? Mortus held the paper up so that everyone could see it. That's how much. It's going to cost us everything, but it'll be worth it. Seymour whistled. Oh, yeah. Spin chittered, tone-matching Seymour's whistle before returning to chewing on his newly reclaimed Brazil nut. Hawkeye leaned back in his seat, mumbling under his breath. Military intelligence? What an oxymoron. Probably want us to find Hoffa next. Lauren frowned. Is any amount of money really worth our lives? And dealing with a possible backstabber? Alright. That's okay. No worries. Yeah, it's Brazil nut. That's good. We have clarified this now. Oh my goodness, y'all are killing me. Alright. Okay, dokie. So let's get started for real. Oh my god. Oh, too funny. Okay. That is the joys of writing with friends. Alright, so whose point of view do we capture today? And is it more annoying to you? Hey, Timothy! Let's see. Mortus and friends. We can continue. Or we can go with Delilah. Or we can go with, let's see, Tolston. Or we can flip back to DeVries. Let's see who we want to hang with. So there you are. There's your options. And then we'll get to decide what we're going to do to have fun today. Because I am a big believer that this should be our fun. And you guys are a huge part of making it so. Oh. Can you believe we're 32 chapters into this little story? Now, mind you, I don't think our word count, let's see where we're at word count wise. Yeah, there we go. Word count. If you can believe it, we're only at 30,000 words, so that's roughly half the size of a normal novel. Alright, so what have we got going on for our vote? Oh, we got an even split, a three-way tie between Mortus and friends, Tolston and DeVries. Alright. We need a tiebreaker. Whew. Well, we'll keep this in our back pocket. I don't like to split chapters into too many viewpoints because that gets to be head-hopping confusing for a reader. Alright, here's how we're going to decide. Everybody pick a number between 1 and 10. Nothing normal about this novel. That's true. That's absolutely true. I know. Where is Ubi when I need him to break a tie? Slacking, that's what. We need one more. Timmy, come on, give me your number. 1 and 10, pick a number. Oh, baby. Hey there, Delilah. You ever wonder what Spin thinks about all this? What would his vote be if they were asking him? Timmy, did you leave me? Maybe so. Maybe he's not present at the moment. Alright, well, nevertheless, we will decide it based on the average. It gives us carryover 1. Alright, so Mortus and Friends it is. More Brazil nuts. Yes. There we are. There we are, Timothy. Did you want to pick a number between 1 and 4? Or 1 and 10? Little. Spin votes for more Brazil nuts and digging. That is a spin thing to do. Oh, you know what I could do? Yes, I could. While you're deciding on that, I realized there is a way to let you guys hear it. I know our story went bye-bye in the car for a moment. Let's see, did I put that together? No, maybe I just, yeah. Didn't quite get that done. Okay, that's why it was where it was at. I'll come back to it. There we go. Your math sucks. Well, okay, that still works. 2 odds and 1 even. So that means that go with, yeah, we'll stick with it. Alright, so what are Mortus and Friends gonna do, folks? We'll stick with that. They've got a big decision to make. You know, we have Lauren, who's really, yeah, what are they gonna do, the Macarena? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ubi. Your contribution is greatly appreciated there. Alright, so now we get to find out who these characters are when it comes time to money. Because we all know that at the start of the story, everybody here is financially struggling. Even Lauren's financial struggling, but she's not quite as motivated by money. So, kill. It will kill. No, it will cut. That's it. The Ubi. See what you're showing. Oh. 10% off. Huh? Nice. All right. Let's get back to the show, shall we? Do we want to take rolls again? Do you guys want to play that way? Or do you want me to take over the writing again? You guys get to choose. We'll do the question of the day. Roleplay stream? Somebody is an emphatic no. Okay. Well, whoever it is that is your emphatic no, I promise I will not make you participate. You are free to sit back, relax, and do your thing. All right. Somebody said yes. Somebody said no. We need tiebreakers. Not feeling especially creative today yourself. Oh. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we got 3 votes. 2 said no. 1 said yes. So we'll close that poll. We'll decide it's done. We will just go without the roleplay today. Brain fried. I get that. It was fun, though. I did like it when you guys did that. It took the pressure off me. Alright, so now we get to see our three friends there, or four friends actually, disagreeing perhaps over money. Ooh, I gotta get in the writing mood. Let's bump up that font so it's actually readable for you guys. Let's see, Seymour. Seymour's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw the money listed on the paper Mortis was holding up in front of the screen. It was more than enough to pay off his credit card bills, catch up his back taxes, and let him live and give him a few years worth of comfortable living before he'd need to return to work. It's hard to say no to that kind of money. Of course, that assumed they'd survive the assignment. Seymour liked money, but he liked life too. What good was money if you weren't alive to spend it? Let's not go all Cartman. You've been on a hockey vacay, taking a little break from creative thinking, but you've been idle long enough. Yeah. The SG. Simply surviving isn't living, Seymour thought. Oh, I like that. You modified it? That's cool. Alright. Simply surviving isn't living, Seymour thought. The money-motivated side of him was working hard to convince the more survival-minded side of himself that the risks were worth it. Yes. Sven thought he could buy a warehouse of nuts with all that money. He kept the thought to himself. Yeah, if this were written from Mortis's perspective, that would be eminently hilarious. And actually, we may take a chapter to kind of explore what Sven is seeing through all of this. Oh my goodness. Aging metalheads, we'll put it that way. No idea. Be there for sure, but probably wouldn't accept it if you did win it. You got more than enough guitars at the moment. Yeah. We need to go get our guitars. Gosh, that is one thing I do really, really want to get done, is make that trip back to West Des Moines to get our stuff out of storage. But with gas prices going up and time being short, we just haven't been able to get there. Plus our car. Although, we did figure out that Heartland's Motors does rent cars in town. We just got to figure out whether they're rent to us or not. Alright. Seymour drummed his fingers on the table. What kind of risks are we talking about, Mortis? Surely what was being asked couldn't be that dangerous. I mean, who would seriously put a team of aging metalheads on the case? Mortis answered Seymour's unspoken question. The reason they want us is that nobody's going to suspect us. We're about as unlikely a crew as they could find. And we proved our capability as a team with Hawkeye's rescue. You're always short by one guitar? Yeah, no kidding. Oh my goodness. Lauren looked uncomfortable as Mortis continued. My mother, impeccable timing. Always. Mortis continued. I won't hold it against any of you if you decide not to do this. It's good money, but I won't commit someone who isn't fully on board with it. What's the stakes? Do we know? Throw Lauren in the asylum, commit her. I know. Actually, I need to. Oh, yeah. You'd love for all of them to be swooped up right after this online meeting. Oh. That would be a kind of interesting thing. Here they are thinking they're discussing it. And do. That's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, that would be true if this were from Mortis's perspective, but right now we're with Seymour. So they disconnected the call shortly after that with nothing having been decided. Part of Seymour was grateful for that. Part of him was still salivating at the amount of money being offered. Ugh! Why can't it be easier to make that kind of money, he thought, shaking his head. He thought about Delilah. She'd left for Nashville after her car got fixed. He wasn't surprised. She liked nice things. Nicer things than he could provide. The money might be enough to persuade her to reconsider. Then again, was she worth that? Let's see. I don't know where Malachi is. No, 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 what did you do? Where did it go? It just basically bonked itself off the screen. So weird. Okay. Let's go back in where I left off. Please stand by for technical difficulties. Indeed, it is a day for that, isn't it? It is a day for technical difficulties. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we go. So let's read through this chapter we've written and see what we want to do next. Chapter 32, Money Matters. Seymour's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw the money listed on the paper Mortus was holding in front of the screen. It was more than enough to pay off his credit card bills, catch up his back taxes, and give him a few years' worth of comfortable living before he'd need to return to work. It was hard to say no to that kind of money. Of course, that assumed they'd survive the assignment. Seymour liked money, but he liked living too. What good was money if you weren't around to enjoy it? However, simply surviving isn't living. On the other hand, simply surviving isn't living, Seymour thought. The money-motivated side of himself was working hard to convince the more survival-minded side of himself that the risk was worth it. Lauren's question cut through the dilemma like a knife through hot butter. Is any amount of money worth our lives? Seymour drummed his fingers on the table. What kind of risks are we talking about, Mortus? Surely what was being asked couldn't be that dangerous. I mean, who would seriously put a team of aging metalheads on the case? Mortus answered Seymour's unspoken question. The reason they want us is that nobody's going to suspect us. We're about as unlikely a crew as they could find, and we proved our capability as a team with Hawkeye's rescue. Lauren looked uncomfortable as Mortus continued. I won't hold it against any of you if you decide not to do this. It's good money, but I won't commit someone who isn't fully on board with it. Hawkeye leaned back in his seat for a moment and then rocked forward. What's the stakes? Do we know? Seymour wondered that himself. Can we meet with this guy as a crew so we can get our questions answered before signing on the dotted line? All eyes were on Mortus. I'll reach out to Mike and let him know we want a meeting to discuss the details before we commit. You willing to consider it if he says yes to that, Lauren? She looked uncomfortable, but nodded. You know what? Let's see. She squirmed in her seat a bit. Let's be more graphic. She squirmed in her seat a bit before nodding. I'm at least willing to listen. No guarantees I'll say yes, but I'll listen. They disconnected the call shortly after that with nothing having been decided. Part of Seymour was grateful for that. Part of him was still salivating at the amount of money being offered. Ugh. Why can't it be easier to make that kind of money, he thought, shaking his head. He thought about Delilah. She'd left for Nashville after her car got fixed. He wasn't surprised. She liked nice things, nicer things than he could provide. The money might be enough to persuade her to reconsider. Then again, was she worth that? She said she cared, but it seemed her definition of caring and his were quite different. Just then, his phone rang. A quick glance at the caller ID showed a familiar number. Delilah's. He started to answer it and then hesitated. The timing seemed suspicious. Was it coincidence? Was someone watching him still? Alright, so that's where we have it now. The polls showed that there were votes for taking it in the direction of Tolston or DeVries next. We had an even split between those two. Now we left DeVries and we left Tolston in a very uncomfortable position. Dun, dun, dun. We don't know a lot about what Tolston's game plan is. So she stumbled and fell, hoping to force Jacobs to slow down, but he caught her and didn't even miss a beat. He seemed to anticipate her every move. Her mind raced as she tried to think through her options and find an opportunity to turn the tide back in her favor. She's got a passive integrated transponder hidden in her belt that could allow the CIA to find her. So yeah, let's make a decision about that. Let's go with Tolston. So here we go. What in the world is it doing that for? That's so weird. I must be clicking something. Oy vey. Alright, let's come back down. There we go. New header. Chapter 33. Now, does the CIA come to by the printer already? I know, right? It's calling my name. Hey, it's good to see you, Sparky. How's it going? Alright, so let's see. Is the CIA going to swoop in and rescue Tolston? Let's ask that question. You guys get to vote. Where you vote determines the direction the story takes. That's also possible that DeVries is hanging out with Delilah, which is why she called. But DeVries was in an uncomfortable position also, so let's see. Used the voltmeter in a video today. Alright. No, she's not going to be rescuing. No, they're not going to be rescuing her. Alright, that's good. Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Yeah, there we go. All right. So let's see what's going to happen while she's in Jacob's custody. We've already decided the CIA is not coming to her rescue. See where DeVries is, because we may be able to bring them together. Nope, the Russians have him. Here's where things could get surprising. Let's see if we want to surprise the readers. There we go. Are the Russians and military intelligence working together? Yep, that's a good one. All right, that brings them together. Let's see. You know, Chris has any guitar necks. You know, he might. Yep. That's true. We don't know who else is watching. After all, it could be anybody. All right. Let's see. Okay. 8675309. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh my goodness. Great. Her pretzel needed straightening. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's read this last chapter that we just wrote, which is pretty cool actually. Tolston under investigation. Tolston felt an impending sense of doom as Jacobs forced her into the door of his vehicle and locked it behind her. The CIA was not going to make it to her in time, it seemed. She found herself sweating despite the AC running full blast. Oh, wow, full blast. That's beautiful. It took every ounce of her training to slow her heart rate and get her anxiety back under control. All she had to do was figure out what Jacobs wanted, what he suspected, and what he knew. Then she could use that to her advantage. Jacobs slid into the driver's seat and rolled up the steel partition that separated his side from hers without a word. He didn't seem interested in talking. Great. That was okay, she reminded herself. It just gave her time to think. Time to decide what her next move was. She was surprised when the car door opened again and DeVries was thrust into the back seat next to her. He seemed just as surprised to see her. Neither had time to question things before the ignition started and the car was on the move. She didn't know how much they could be heard back here, and she didn't want to give things away, so she said nothing. DeVries seemed to have the same idea, staring ahead without looking at her beyond the first glance. Her mind turned with questions. Were the military intelligence working with the Russians? If so, how much did they know? How much of the CIA's plans and her employers had been exposed? Her mind raced with the possibilities, and she could feel the sweat at the base of her hairline starting up again. She hated how out of control things felt right then. A quick glance at DeVries told her he too was feeling the pressure. Large beads of sweat formed along his forehead despite the air conditioning blasting them. That confirmed to her that he was just as much in the dark as she was. Attempts to seduce Jacobs were unlikely to be successful. He'd worked with her for months before this and never given a hint, not even one, of his true disposition. He'd also been subject to her worst tempers without breaking. She frowned. She needed a better plan than that. Could she distract him? Cause him to need to pull over to the side of the road somehow? She eyed DeVries for a moment. If she were to knock him out, would that lead Jacobs to pull over and give her an opportunity to escape? She wouldn't mind putting that idiot in a coma. Better than leaving him conscious enough to talk. All right, guys. We have done it. 2 chapters, 1 hour. We are ready to roll. So thank you guys for joining me again. I will be back next Saturday. I do have a writers' conference that I'll be attending, but it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I will be home by Friday. Praise be to the Lord. thank you guys for coming. I'm glad you guys enjoyed your guitar talk throughout this episode. And I'll see you again next week when we figure out what the guys are going to do with that big offer. My pleasure. Always happy to see you guys. Always happy to have you here